The idea of niching scares me. I'm a Nollywood film junkie and reading Afrofiction excites me. I'm oftentimes a nerd and I'm not mad at it. I love to draw and I like to call myself a created creative, if I do say so myself. Hi guys, my name is Meisy, aka Meisy, and I just finished cooking a TCO podcast. Let's eat. It's Friday, so you already know what time it is. Hi guys, you're now listening to the Chidera podcast, which we're now calling the TCO podcast. If this is your first time here, my name is Chidera, aka Stargirl Chi, and I usually do come up here every Friday to bless the ears of my listeners. So you should really count yourself lucky because you just plugged yourself or just put yourself on good stuff for real. So yeah, welcome to the 13th episode. The 13th episode is live. It feels really, really nice to have come up here 13 times, to have done this 13 times. And I genuinely do hope that I've been able to impact and bless you guys 13 times. Thank you for sticking with me. And yeah, so today I'm featuring somebody I happen to know in my life. Don't happen to know. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, welcome back to the TCO podcast. If you're new here, hi. You're very, very welcome. If you're not new, hello. My name is Meisy, the sister to the podcast, but you can just call me Meisy. And I'm shy to be here.
Lol, shy. Basically, so my sister is finally on the podcast. Yeah. She goes by Meisy on the interwebs. So instead of Meisy, I'll be calling her Meisy. If you listen to my podcast and you heard me say, oh my god, when I was sad, I talked to my sister. Oh my god, I asked my sister for advice. This is the sister finally on the podcast. Yeah. So the sister, 3 words. I need you to use 3 words to describe yourself. Let people know who you are. Let people know exactly who you are. 3 words to describe yourself, please.
Okay. If I'm describing myself in 3 words, I would say weird.
I agree.
Creative. And I'd say extra.
Extra in what sense?
So like not dramatic, but like just extra. So not basic, essentially.
Oh, like is that your way of like?
No, it's just that it's not like it's an insult. It's just like I can be extra most of the time to people that that know me, but to other people I'm shy.
So you're weird, you're creative, and you're extra. Yeah. Okay. Now as the sister, let me describe her in 3 words because I can do that because sometimes you really do not know yourself. Other people do know you. So I agree, you're very weird. Yeah, absolutely weird. I don't know, see how you're extra. Well, yeah, you're extra, and you are such a critic. Like, but basically, why do you do what you do? Like, why are you so full of yourself? Like, what do you think you're better than every other person? Like, why do you do what you do, basically, essentially?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So my sister is a really big critic. Like, you just always have something to say. You just always have, and it's never always good. Like, I don't get you people. Like, yeah, I know Gertie has like 2 sides, and yes, she's like, okay, yeah, she's trying to help you, but you just kill dreams. Like, never have I brought something to you and you approve of. Like, okay, but that's not the point right now.
Sorry.
So welcome. Yeah, my sister is finally on the podcast, and for this episode, I thought to talk of the uniqueness and peculiarity to your journey, and staying true to yourself. The episode seems quite cliche, or not cliche, but seems quite, everyone says, oh, stay true to yourself. But do you really stay true to yourself? Like, it's so much more than, okay, just being yourself, but actually staying true to what makes you yourself, to what makes Chidera Chidera, to what makes Mesima Mesima. And I thought to invite my sister because I feel like I mean, she has been on a journey where she has had to stay true to herself. I mean, I know like parts of her story and all that. So yeah,
Yeah.
everything. So in my family, generally, like Mesima said, she's a creative. She's weird and she's a critic or extra and all that. So she's a creative, which I'm going to point out now. So in my family, generally, we're all creatives. But where do you think we get that from, though?
I think it's from mom's side.
But daddy will bet on anything that we're creative because of you.
I don't think so. I think daddy knows deep
But
down.
there's a part of daddy that's creative as well.
I think daddy's side is intellectual and mommy's side is creative. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we get, probably.
It has to be.
Yeah, now I see it. But like mommy's kind of creativity is your kind of creativity, like when you use your hands a lot, right? Mm. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to dwell on the fact that she's a creative. So I feel like, staying true to yourself, her journey kind of goes hand in hand. So now, Mesma, we get you're creative. Explain. Creative is such a broad word. What exactly do you do?
It's quite vague,
to be honest.
So I do I just said creative because I do a number of things, but generally people know. Not people know me. People don't know me, but like generally, I draw. I draw. Sometimes I paint. I do other stuff with my hands, so I can be really handsy. I make hair.
You just said handsy.
Yeah. I make hair. God. I recently started doing my nails. I just do anything you can think of. I do a bunch of stuff with my hands. There was a time in my life where I made beads, crocheted. Not like I do all these things professionally, but just I can do them. But the thing that I know that like has prospects of me possibly going professionally in is, the whole thing of drawing, painting, illustrating, designing, etc, etc. So all those cute stuff. That's what I'm
Did you just say cute? Yes, cute. Yeah, cute. So yeah, Mesima, my sister, Mesima can do a lot with her hands. Like she's literally a creative because she's able to turn everything, to something. But we're going to stick with the fact that she's a digital artist, aka designer, woman in tech, product designer, and all that stuff. And I feel like Mesima's journey has been, one to like a kind where she's trying to like stay true to herself. So how did you start? Like we get for you right now, it's more of, even when you can put your hand in a number of things, but right now for you it's art, it's digital art, and it's like product design. So how did it start? How did the flair for
how did I start? Yeah, liking art.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if there was any, like, it wasn't one of those things where people would be like, oh my god, ever since I was a child, I used to do these things, play with scrap, make something out of nothing, instead of playing with my friends outside. Like, I never had that. I feel like it was quite later for me. So like when I was in primary 3, I think that's when I first discovered. And yeah, I think from then on, structures were just put in place for developing the skill. So primary school I went to was I don't even know what it was, but they were very in and all about the arts. And by the arts, I mean music and art. So that helped me a lot. I had friends who were also interested, so it didn't make me feel outcast or feel like, oh my days, that is my girl can draw. She draws for you. Like I didn't feel alone in the thing.
Yeah, you had someone.
Yeah.
Like you're surrounded by people already, talented people.
Yeah, a group of talented people. And the same thing went on for secondary school. And as I graduated secondary school, I then put the responsibility on myself to like continue honing what had already started
Yeah,
being
basically.
honed.
So the whole thing started from primary school, and it was just because you were surrounded with a lot of talented people, and then it was brought out of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what you're
Yeah,
saying.
that was what it was like.
But I remember one time because I asked you this question before, and you said something about a friend who you were trying to copy.
I'm just trying to give abstracted details. If you want me to go in depth, I can. But like for the sake of the time on this podcast, but yeah, it was essentially my friend. My friend. There was always a friend who was into something I was interested in, and so I would always want to do what the person was doing because, oh my days, this looks cool. I can try it. Let me just see what it's like. And from that trying, that was when everything started for me. And so in different phases of my life, I would just see someone doing something that looked interesting and similar to the art I was pursuing. And it's just by trying, essentially. Like, I didn't used to do, oh, this person, they're unique. Let me need them to be unique. Like,
You
if I
felt like
can
you
do
could also
it.
be unique.
Yeah.
Okay, because a glimpse of what I remember, because when we were younger, I remember how you guys usually had like art exhibitions in school, and then daddy's always bringing back a new portrait that you
Mm-hmm.
painted.
Mm-hmm.
Back then it looked so beautiful. Like Mesoma, the talented artist guy. Have you gone back to the palace look at that?
Looking back, I mean, it's not that bad. You painted it, like if I repainted it, I was just a child. My hands were wobbly. But like, yeah, it was funny to me how people would actually want to buy the things I did. I remember my
By
secondary
people,
school.
you mean your parents?
Yeah. I mean, obviously they have to buy it to my parents, but like for the teachers to frame it, because I know frames were expensive then.
Yeah.
So you don't just frame anything
For them to
and
like
put
for them
it
to
up.
pull what you just did as probably a 6-year-old, 7-year-old was and it was so amazing that time because daddy was so vocal about the weed. He was like, "It's my daughter. If you tell my daughter now, Mesoma, to draw you the same way, should give it back to should give." Oh please, God! Oh please! So I know I recall that a lot. It was always daddy bringing back a new work and putting it in the parlor and telling the whole village.
I wasn't even as confident in myself as the way you used to hype me, but like I think maybe that helped along the lines.
Shout out to you, daddy. Okay, so like now that's how it started. Obviously, it started from school where you discovered that you could actually paint or draw. How did you own it as a thing now, being like a digital artist? How did it become a thing for Meisy?
A thing?
Yeah, like
how did
it go from just being like, oh, you did it in primary school just for art exhibitions, but you actually liked it enough to own it and call yourself a digital artist, like starting a whole Instagram page, wanting to get better in it?
Okay. So at the time, like I said, I was graduating from secondary school. I didn't want it to die down because people would literally come up to me and maybe, like I said, people are nosy. I never said that, but people are nosy. And as I grew older, I became more introverted. So I didn't really like the whole idea of me doing something and then people come to put their head inside and be like, oh my days, what are you doing? Oh, this is so that. But like I got a lot of that, like flies perching on light. So
flies perching on flies trying to make you actually discover your life.
All of them tried. So people were always coming to meet me and like, oh my days, this is so good. Like if I was in your shoes, I would not even be thinking of going to university. Like I would just stop school and then do this full time. Like, a bunch of them, I was just like, oh, thank you. And looking back, it was not even all that, the things I was doing, but like, I had a little bit of pressure from other people and from myself and just from the structures I put in place to help me grow my skill, to to continue. Like, I didn't want it to die down, even if I didn't want it to be a full career at the time. I just wanted it to be something I did. So as I graduated from school, I started keeping an art journal, which is not anything extra. It's just like a sketchbook, but not a sketchbook. It was just a book I started drawing in. And that was because of Chidera. She would always be like, this one, no, this my friend, she used to draw. Or this my other friend, he used to draw and he does this. I think you should do that too. At the time, it was very annoying
Yes,
because, like,
guys, like I said, I'm an angel.
can you just let me do my thing in peace? But like,
Like I am.
with time, I don't know how I fell into a trap, but I did. And yeah, I think the major thing that made me start taking it seriously was that there was one of Chidera's friends that was into art as well, and she used to call herself an artist. And at the time, I thought artists were people who, all these people you see on the streets of Lagos that they would draw.
Genuinely speaking,
Maybe
those were
the
artists.
president
Yeah, they're
or
not living there. They're not
Kenny
saying,
or
come and buy
somebody.
500
Yeah,
naira.
and like you see this and you will recognize that this person is this person that they drew. It's not just anything anyhow. So I didn't consider myself that good. So I didn't call myself an artist. If you ask me, my parents were just being dramatic for calling me an artist, and I just knew how to draw. So this Chidera's friend was drawing and posting on Instagram, and her drawings were not all these they were not as good. So obviously she was also just learning and stuff. But I was just moved by the fact that this girl isn't as good, but she's still taking pride in her work, and then she's still excited. And there was a whole art Instagram community then. So I was always spending time on her page, just stalking her movement. And
oh my god, as a
yeah,
stalker that you are.
it's not stalking. I'm sorry, just doing some
You
research.
just said stalking, but
No. For the sake of people who don't understand now,
yeah.
I was just doing some research on her, on her page and
That's how you call
everything.
stalking research.
And yeah, I think I don't even know how. But I was just so happy, and I felt, I don't even know what word to use, but it felt good seeing somebody that looked like me doing something that I thought was impossible. So
yeah,
it just gave me morale.
There's a pattern I've noticed with your life. You always model after someone.
Yeah, I think if you don't model after somebody in this life, you fall down.
That's good.
So yeah.
So when people do, it's kind of like an eye opener that I can do this as well.
Yeah, I think it's the thing about representation, because I always used to think it was for all these white people and all these Indians, small people, blah blah blah. So it was good. So that's how I started. Essentially, I just took my time, continued working, gave myself a date, and then I just started posting. Even if I've stopped posting, I stopped along the lines of university. I'm done with school now, but like during school, I'm done with school. I just finished school. So I stopped for a while, and then I archived on my posts because school was doing a lot in my head. I was going through all the
you were going through all that.
So, but yeah, that was how I started.
So that's how you were able to make the whole primary school thing your thing.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's nice. Because one thing I've noticed again in your journey is your consistency to be like to maintain to be who you are. You get, because I noticed there was this transition that time that you started making art your thing, and then it went from just like painting in primary school and daddy buying it to you actually decorating the room. I knew you were entering an era like with the whole Maisy's Instagram page. Then I come back from school and then I noticed that Omesoma has redecorated. You have new sets of drawings all over the wall, which Mommy always had a problem with because you are spoiling the page. She just painted. Daddy just painted the house. And Mommy's in charge of keeping the house in order. And then Omesoma is always sticking. I remember when she would come and be like, "You come again, this girl. You so scatter this page."
That's not how Mommy sounds.
Basically, but I noticed that you were in an era. That's when I noticed that you started owning your, art skill. And as an angel I am, you started taking my advice, getting an art book and all that. So another thing is now with your career, how are you able to still be that art girl in your career? Because I know your career had plenty shifts and turns, like from this to this. You mind sharing basically how were you able to still be a design girly? Be
in my career.
Yeah.
Okay, so right from when I was old enough to start thinking about career choices, I knew that I wanted to do something that involved me drawing,
Okay.
because I didn't grow up thinking that I could be an artist. Growing up, it was just something that my parents would say, you can now do art by the side,
Yeah.
but then, you have to find something that you do with your life. So I wanted to escape in such a way that even if I'm doing this art by the side, let the job I'm doing be something that I can apply, this creativity I have in. Let me have a pencil case. Let me have pencils in my pen case all the time, regardless of the job I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I had a little my career journey was I don't even know what to explain it as, but it was a little thing. So I started off wanting to do psychology. Then I moved to architecture. Then it was architecture till I graduated from secondary school. I took a gap here, and during the course of that gap year, my prospects changed.
Okay.
And it was because of reasons beyond my control. My parents were not, all of a sudden they were not okay with it anymore, and at the time it felt like my life was just derailed. And I was like, you know what? I like you guys are paying my school fees. I
Like,
respect
give
you
the
for
people
that.
what they want.
I'll just whatever you want,
Life of
just
a child of Igbo parents.
whatever you want, just decide and do, pay
Yeah,
the school
do
fees. Like
that.
the school fees. I'm so sorry. That's what I was all about, Sha. So that's what happened. So um I ended up in software engineering. And I was okay with it. I wasn't okay with it, but like I knew that wherever I end up in, nothing spoil. I'll still be doing my art,
Yeah.
and
I
what do you call
decided.
it? And I'm still going to pass. It wasn't pride, but I was confident because anywhere you put me, I know I'll do well. So plus another thing that gave me morale was at the time that Chidera's friend that started doing art and posting on Instagram, she was studying something that
Was
she didn't have
similar.
much control over, and it was similar to what I was studying, and she was still able to do art. So I was convinced that if this girl
Still
can do
possible.
this, then I can do this as well. um so yeah, I was just riding on the waves of the course I was studying, and I didn't really care much. But I had 4 years, and I thought 4 years was a long time to just find what I want to do in the grand scheme
Yeah.
of things. At the time, 4 years went really fast. Because it wasn't even 4 years, it was 3.5. So I was already time for my internship, and at this time, the expectation was you go on internship and you come back and you know what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. But when I went on internship, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I remember the internship job I got, it was with the help of my dad that I got the job. And then during the interview, I didn't want to mess things up. So I had to package very well. And, I'm good at packaging, I'm good at cramming, I'm good at bringing out what I crammed as if it was my own. So that's what happened. That's how I got the job.
Yeah.
Um, and during the time, I was in a team where I thought, I can do this now. It's not just what I did in school. Let me learn it. I didn't want to do art as a full-time thing. I didn't want to do anything art related as a full-time thing. I went from wanting to do something that had art inside of it, some tiny aspect of art inside of it, to not wanting to do anything that had to do with art at all, because I just wanted to get the bag, and I didn't think art would give me the bag, and I just was it was a toxic
Was
mentality
there a
for
switch
me.
for you from art? No.
No, because art was never really the main career choice. It was just a side.
Okay.
So that was what it was. And I already had a long-term plan. So my plan was, since I couldn't do art full time, I would go to university for 4 years, doing something I don't like. I'll be doing art by the side. I'll finish with that something I don't like. I'll go and do masters in another something I don't like. For I don't know how long masters are, 2 years. Then I'll get a job in that something I don't like again. and I'll make sure that something I don't like is giving me enough money to compensate
Yeah.
for the sadness or misery or frustration I'm feeling from doing something I don't like. And so from the money that I gain, I would save up, and when I've saved up enough, I would quit my job, and then I'll pay for art school for myself, and then I'll start doing art full time. So I had a
Go on to art.
timeline, and you know, I didn't want anything to mess with that timeline. So I was very adamant and headstrong on making sure that what I had planned would come to life. So when it was not time for internship, and I started working the job that I did not like, I thought I could handle it. Prior to that, I thought I was strong, but it was for 2 months before I made a switch. So those 2 months were the most miserable 2 months of my internship life. I was angry, frustrated all the time, complaining to thin air, writing everywhere. I hate it here. I hate this job. I hate my life. Blah blah blah. Dramatic things essentially, but they were genuine because it wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. So finally,
That was really dramatic.
yeah, it is, and it was a very dramatic time. Plus, I had a bad boss, so everybody that came to ask me how am I or how was it going heard the fair share of it. But long story short, at the time I was tired. I said, God, I am tired. I don't know what's going down. I can't go back, finish this internship and not know what I'm doing with my life. Please help a girl. That was literally my plea. And I remember before I started the internship, I had already told God that I don't want to go, like as I'm going for this internship, I'm coming back knowing what I want to do. So back and forth. Finally, one day when I was thinking about career prospects, career choices, etc., it was just very subtle, and the Holy Spirit just put it in my heart. Why not try product design? And like I said, I didn't want to do anything art related. But I had come to the end of myself essentially, and I said, okay, let me see. So the moment I said okay, and the moment I said yes, let me see, everything just started falling for me in. I sound like my mom, but lines started falling for me in pleasant places. So like, it was just like as if the universe just started aligning to my decision to be a product designer. So all of a sudden, I go on YouTube, I see people with the same story as mine. I go on Instagram, I see people who are just like me, like creative people. Like I never knew my field had a spot for creatives to shine. So it was just something that was so tailor-made to fit me. And I never would have found it if I never admitted that I was dying in the former place I was and everything. So that's what it was like, and it's been going up ever since then, because I found people who feel the same way and who have similar interests. And I feel like for me, having an art background makes it so much easier for me, because I see things that people don't usually see. And also being a critic also makes it very good. But it's a blessing and a curse, because I can criticize other people's work and try to see how I can make it better, but then I also criticize my work so much so that I feel almost I feel not good enough. So like it's a struggle. So it's a blessing and a curse,
Your act of criticizing people.
Yeah, it has fallen back on me.
Yes, you deserve it for every single time.
But yeah, I'm trying not to be hard on myself, because before people criticize me, I criticize myself first. And so is it
a good spirit? Like,
is it
I don't
not?
know. Do you think you're battling with something?
I'm not. But yeah, that's what it has been. It's been a journey.
So you don't think you're not battling? You don't think you're something you're battling with?
I'm not battling with any.
Because I do think you have an issue. But it's fine. So with your story so far, I noticed something. I noticed you can't really run away from who you are. I mean, you can try to shy away from it, but it's going to like rub off on you. So most times when we're like, we know what we're good at, but we want to spread our wings, and touch what society wants for us. it's going to show, basically. And I think that's God's way of putting you back on track, telling you that this is what is peculiar for you. So I wanted to do an episode on staying true to who you are. Then I thought of sharing your story, because I know it has always been art for you, and there was this kind of like twist turn where you had to study your course in the tech field, and it's like you need to get the money in the tech space and everything, and then you forget that you forgot to tell them that I contributed to your product design journey.
Sorry.
Yes.
Chidera was a major factor.
Very big factor. So basically, and then you're able to come back to product design, which is for you. So I think for anyone, honestly, it's good the course of life you're meant to be on. I know some people haven't discovered yet, but you just know that one thing that you feel you sabi do. You know that one thing that you can do. And the funny thing that it might not make sense to virtually anybody, but that's you, and you need to stay true to it. Like, you need to keep dwelling and staying true to it. So from your journey, so what's the picture now for Meisy? Meisy, since you've been able to be a designer, which is still you living the dream, sort of. So what's the big picture at the end of the day for Meisy?
So Meisy is a designer, Meisy is an artist, Meisy is an illustrator, etc. I feel like nobody talks about how there's clash of interests, not clash of interests, but like prioritizing passions, essentially. So now that I have a career that I'm interested in, and I have a passion that I'm also interested in, usually people will have, maybe you're a doctor, and I didn't want to be a doctor, I really want to be a poet. And so when you're tired of your job, you go and retract to that thing that you're interested in. But now that I'm interested in both my job and both my passion, sometimes it's a clash for me. But recently the Holy Spirit led me to somebody that does exactly the same thing I'm doing. So this person, I met her on Twitter. I don't talk to her. I was doing some research, and then I just saw her on Twitter.
She stalked her.
So
you stalked,
she does,
and you stalked,
okay,
you stumbled upon her.
This person does digital art like
You're a
me.
critic and a stalker.
Okay.
Yeah.
This person does digital art like me, and the person is also on the art community. And that is the art community on Instagram and then on Twitter as well. She does digital art, she does product design, and she even contributes to the design space. She makes illustrations, animations, and everything. So I'm in a place where it's a long journey for me. It's a long journey, but it's an exciting journey, and I'm very into it. I don't want to try and jump in all at once. It's something I tried to do earlier this year. I'm trying to take it like one step at a time, and I'm not trying to put timelines on myself. So maybe for design, of course, my career, I'm trying to say, okay, by this age I should have done this, contributed to this, blah 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 blah. But like for myself personally as an artist, like I'm not trying to put pressure on myself. Design is something I can retire from maybe when I'm 40 or something, I don't know. But like art is something that is going to be there till I die. I envision having a sketchbook for each year of my life until I die. So it is no pressure, but at the same time it's pressure. So pressure is like, I don't want to let this thing die, so I have to be consistent in it. And I have to see the purpose by which I was given this, because it's not just to be drawing fine girls and posting on
like
Instagram.
What exactly are you giving to? What exactly are you doing for
exactly? So I'm still on a journey of discovering that, but I know whatever it is I'm going to be doing is still going to involve art. So
you just know what you're meant to
I just
be doing.
know.
But now it's kind of like, you're like, what exactly? Art, but what in art are you chasing?
Yeah, so I know, but I don't know. Which is interesting, because then it just gives me more morale to want to know more.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now. So just just going, having a fun time.
Okay, that's good. It's kind of like, I'm very skeptical. Should I name this Misoma's documentary? Because it feels like you're literally giving us your documentary. Because when I knew I had to record an episode with you, I just felt like with you've tried to stay true in your calling. and with your story is one that you can't run away from who you are. Who you are, you know, is who you're going to be. And so generally from your story, from everything, it's really important for you to stay true to yourself. I'm going to call out artist Thames. I feel like one thing I love about him, Thames, I don't know Thames.
Thames. Her name not Temi. Temi
Temi
Lade.
Lade.
So why do people call her Thames? I don't understand it.
That's like
It's very funny to me. It's not pronounced Temi.
It's supposed to be Thames.
Is this?
It's actually Thames.
Is her name Temi Lade? Except maybe she's American.
Sure. But basically,
Sure.
what I love about her music, her sound, everything is the originality behind it. I feel she's one artist that stays so true to herself, and it's not like she's not like, she doesn't really move with external validation. She's herself, and that's what she can be. So I know it's music and it's not like related to our lives, but I feel like with Meissy's story though, like we're able to connect the dots and we're able to stay true to whatever it is that we're called for, because when we can't try to be other people. I know we live in a world where we need to meet up with society, we need to make the bag, and we're all constantly running. It's like how writing is for me. I always say this, like, I know how writing is evolving. People are saying, oh my god, you can make $1 million from writing and all of that. But I would genuinely still love and appreciate the writers who do not try to compromise their what's the word? Who don't try to compromise their craft and still create like what they love to create. Because there's how it's turning, and now people are like into copywriting, into this, which is not bad, but they're doing it for money. And people who genuinely wrote before, they're just taking a new turn. So I really do still appreciate like originality and staying true to yourself. So I feel like whatever field you are, you shouldn't be blinded by what the world is saying. You should still make sure that you're yourself, even like at the end of the day. So 2 cents, Mesama.
From me?
Yeah, just 2 cents. Tell us something.
Okay. 2 cents. First of all, I would say stay true to yourself, which sounds a little bit cliche and everything.
This is good episode is stay true to yourself.
Because it even sounds a little contradicting, because at the time I was not true to myself. I told you guys about how I did not want to do what I was meant to do, because I just felt like people were not doing it. That's not where money was at. The
money.
The evil girl in me was fighting, like, what's wrong with it's not money. But like I had to be nice to myself. I had to be kind to myself, that's the word. And then I had to just sit down and just tell myself, like, guy, come on, like, let's be for real. So sometimes you just have to sit down with yourself and just get yourself back in order. Like, it might look like what you want to do is not common. That is even the more reason why you should go and do it. There's a community for everything these days. Thank God for social media. You will find your community. Is inevitable. And if there's no community, you start it. People will not come and follow you. And
the moving train, guys. You guys should listen to that episode.
But yeah, stay true to yourself. It will save you a lot of time. I spent X years of my life trying to force something down my throat that was not for me. Do you know how many programming languages I've gone to do tutorial for? www.tutorial for this. Yeah, it's not like I didn't. Like, I write it in school. I pass the exam. Yeah. To be fair, we don't do deep things in exam. It's like, it's kind of basic. Not basic, but like for the tech bros out there, it's kind of basic. But like, I was still trying to chug it down my truth. But it saves time, long and short of it. So stay true to yourself. And so my second advice is connected to this first one, and it is, if you don't know what you're even staying true to, maybe you don't know yourself well enough to know what you want to do. It's funny because some people actually like what do you call it, conventional, I won't say conventional sounds insulting, but like conventional jobs, conventional 9-to-5s, corporate office, where like some people actually like that. That's them staying true to themselves. me, I've always been unconventional from the food choices that I make, the things I eat at home, how I do my things. My siblings are just weird. Because tell me why you don't eat garlic egg and granules on a normal day, or garlic egg and peanut butter. But
I'm so
anyways,
weird because I don't eat garden egg.
I've always had,
I'm a very weird girl, guys.
I've always been unconventional, and spoiler alert, it seeped into my career choice, and I was mad at it. But with time, I started to enjoy it because obviously it's what I like doing. So if you don't know what you want to do, if you don't know what you're staying true to, if you're still confused, I would advise that, just like me, you inquire of the Lord, which is a fancy way of saying go and ask God. I told you guys, when I had come to the end of myself, and when I had tried, listen, and the thing, oh my days, people will talk, people will give you advice, people will say
plenty advisors,
do that, try this, try
zero
that.
helpers.
Plenty people, especially like, I do not, no shame to anybody's parents. I honor my parents by the grace of God. Like, I respect them, and they just want what is best for you, and that is what they know. So to the best of their knowledge, they're just trying to help you. They don't want to see you homeless, everything. So everybody, your aunties, your uncles, everybody will give you advice. And your parents will now also give you their own advice, because they just want to see you thrive. Their own definition of thriving is different from your own definition of thriving. But like, that's the thing about staying true to yourself. So you have to know what you want. And when you don't know what you want, it's very easy for you to just be misled. So if you don't know what you want, I advise you just go to God. When people say go to God, some people start thinking about it as something very extra and dramatic and everything. But this is not to demean, praying, because I pray by the grace of God. And I did pray, but like, I didn't do anything extra. I didn't fast for 7 days. I was just honest with God, and
it's called heartfelt prayers.
Yes, heartfelt prayers. I was just very honest and broken and vulnerable, and God
That's
just
the kind of heart God wants.
sent answers, or sent an answer and backed it up with confirmations. So God did it for me. I was just a girl. I'm still just a girl. He's still doing it for me. So I know He can do it for you. And once you get that, run with it.
It's for me too.
Once you get that, and if you've not gotten it, if you're still looking, shall be consistent. And once you get an answer, just run with it. Essentially, that's all. Stay true to yourself and inquire of the Lord. Ask God for whatever it is that you need, and yeah, that's right about all. That's all I have to say today. I don't know if I have anything else to say.
So yeah, we finally come, guys. We're 42 minutes in. No matter how we try. But yeah, we finally come to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening down to the end. If you did, I know you gained 1 or 2. Probably work on shortening our episodes. I don't know. We just have so much light to give, if you think about it. But yeah, you already know the drill. As a TCO soldier that you are. As a TCO soldier podcast. As a TCO podcast soldier that you are. You know the drill. Share this to everybody. Thank you so much for listening. See you same time next week. That's why I feel like I want you to end without your quote. I really put all these quotes in my head. Your sign out from Queensland. Can you remember it?
Oh,
yeah. So I feel you should just end with it.
Oh my days, that's so... I feel like such a prophet. Because I didn't even know anything that was going on. I just put it sounded cool. I think I said...
kind of like reflecting your life right now.
I think it was something words, along the lines of live up to what you believe. The fact that you're doing it different doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It's 2019.
I love that. Thank you. So see you guys same time next week. Bye. Let's say bye. Say bye bye. My God, the episode is getting longer. Say bye.
You cut it on your own by now.